Hey guys, how are you? Happy Friday. My name is Matt Perrault with you every morning here for the Daily Juice podcast. Always being brought to you by BetMGM. BettingPros is where you find this podcast audio everywhere, anywhere you get your audio podcasts or the video on YouTube. Just go and search BettingPros to get in. BettingPros and our friends at BetMGM. This offer, it is a $10 offer to win $150 on any event using that promo code Juice150, which is always right above me if you ever forget it on YouTube. Juice150, BetMGM, BetMGM.com. All right, so a cool down day yesterday, down 1 unit. We lose on both bets to the under. The Wisconsin bet, I knew we were in trouble, and I just didn't have the guts to bet the second half over. I probably should have. I was doing a bunch of things, and I was like, Wisconsin scored 45 points in the first half. Uh-oh. Because we knew that, Iowa was the number one scoring team in the first half with 44 points a game, and they scored 32. So Iowa was going to score a bit in the second half, but 80-some-odd points for Wisconsin was a shocker. So that game flew over by about 20 points. Dead wrong there. A little bit closer with the Celtics and the Knicks. Got a couple of bad breaks. If Jason Tatum doesn't hit the shot to tie the game, maybe the Knicks dribble it out. Maybe we survive and we get ourselves a lucky under 211. But there is your CLV Society example of when it doesn't matter. We had a great number, 211, 210, 209, 208, 207. All of them lose. Game goes over. Bank shot 3 by R.J. Barrett to win the game for the Knicks. So we go 0-2 on the night. All right, so here's what I'm going to do here for today. I've got 2 more basketball plays, one in the NBA and one in college basketball, just like last night. But I'm going light, okay? Again, these are picks. You can keep it, bet it, leave it, whatever you want to do with it, okay? I don't love betting on basketball right now. I'm not betting hockey. It's a very thin slate for hockey. 2 games in college I'm taking a look at. I'm eyeballing, 1 game in college, 1 game in the pros that I'm eyeballing here on a Friday night. But really, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we get rolling, okay? We have Saturday play. We have Saturday, week 18, Sunday, week 18, Monday, college football national championship. Got to figure out what I'm doing with that game on Monday. I just don't know yet. It's going to be tough. We're 6-0 in 2022 for college football. And we're up 12 units in college football. We're down 12 units in the NFL, but we're up 12 units. Being down 12 units in the NFL leads me to my first bet of the day. I teased this on the Discord channel last night, okay? The Tennessee Titans. Before they become the official 1 seed, you can get the Titans at 5-1 to win the AFC right now, okay? Search around, try to find it. Some books are at 4-1, some books are at 5-1 for the Titans to win the AFC. Now, if the Titans go ahead and win, most likely they're going to win this weekend, right? The Texans are bad. They win, they're the 1 seed. Let's play out the bracket here for just 1 second. So the Titans get the bye, right? So they don't play on Wild Card Weekend. Derrick Henry gets to rest, and Derrick Henry's back at practice. Derrick Henry at home, running the football against a Buffalo Bills team that couldn't stop the Patriots running the football, is a very nice scenario, all right? Titans win 1 game, and they are in the AFC Championship game. So essentially, this bet comes down to whether or not the Titans can beat the Bills. So what we could potentially do if we get there and the Titans are the 1 seed against Buffalo, depending on where the numbers are, you actually could bet the Buffalo Bills knowing that we've got the other side with the Titans, okay? But if you don't want to hedge twice, because that's what you'd have to do, Titans just win the game. They beat the Buffalo Bills outright, and they are in the AFC Championship game. What do you think the odds are going to be? The Titans might be home dogs. If they're favorites against the Chiefs, it's a small line. -1, -2 type of thing if they are a favorite. You can come back. We can come back and we can bet on the Chiefs. If we get plus money on KC, and even if we don't, we can still bet KC. It's probably going to be a short number, probably minus 120, 115, somewhere in that range. Bet the Chiefs for 1 unit. And then we basically hedge ourselves on both sides, and we're good, right? We can bet depending on how much we want to wager on, because we know that we've got a 5-1 return on the Titans to win the AFC. And on the other side, you take the 1 unit win for Kansas City, or you bet 2 units on KC to win 2 units, and it's either we win 5 or we win 2. Lose 1, come out up 1. I'm betting on the Titans, officially, 1 unit. Let's try to make some money back. Let's try to make a dent. If you want to let it ride, and I might just let it ride, depending on how the playoffs go, I may have the Titans to win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl. And if that happens, if the Titans are in the Super Bowl, boy, oh boy, that would be something. But the return of Derrick Henry with fresh legs, are you kidding me? Derrick Henry with fresh legs. It's, you know how dominant he is in September, right? It's like, oh my gosh, it takes 5 guys to tackle him. This guy, I know coming back off of an injury, got to be worried about that. But I love this idea that the Titans defense is good enough to slow down the Bills and the Chiefs to allow Derrick Henry to run the football. The bet comes down to Ryan Tannehill. You can't blow it, Ryan Tannehill. But as long as he doesn't, I think the Titans are going to go to Los Angeles. I really do. They probably don't win it, but I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think the Titans are, and even if they're not, this gives us a flag. You put a flag down, 5-1. The Titans, 5-1. Plus 500 to win the AFC. 1 unit bet is what I am doing here. Maybe we make 5 units back, and what a beautiful dent that would make in our negative minus 12 units down for the NFL. Maybe this is the time. I think this is worth the shot. Plus 500 Titans. We're going plus 500 on the Titans to win the AFC for 1 unit. All right. Let's get to the games tonight. Let's start in the NBA. It's the big one. Bucks at the Nets. Number is 3.5. There are big COVID problems for the Milwaukee Bucks. All right. Drew Holiday is in the protocols. He is out. So is Pat Connaughton. So is Grayson Allen. So is George Hill. Okay. Now, no Kyrie for the Brooklyn Nets. Big deal. They just came up with a really impressive, very big deal win for them in the last game. Kyrie can't play in this game, but Kevin Durant can. Brooklyn is a small favorite, minus 3.5. But have you seen what the Milwaukee Bucks have done this year as a dog? It is wild. Let's go through the whole schedule for the Milwaukee Bucks when they are catching points this season, okay? Against Miami, on the road, catching 2.5, they lost by 42. Catching 5 against Utah at home, they lost by 12. Catching 3.5 against the New York Knicks on the road, they won the game by 12. Catching 5.5 against Boston 2 nights later on the road, they lost by 9. Catching 2 against Atlanta 2 nights later, they lost by 20. Later in the season, they went a pretty good stretch of being favorites, and then they caught 1 point against Toronto back on the 2nd of December. Catching 1, lost the game by 4. Catching 3 against Indiana, they won the game by 15 points on the 15th of December. But then against New Orleans, they caught 1.5, they lost by 4. Against Cleveland, they were catching 6, they lost by 29. They're 2-7 against the spread as underdogs this season. And they've been blown out by numerous teams when they have been underdogs this year. It's a wacko year. They are 11-9 on the road against the spread overall, but they haven't covered their last 2 games, both at home against Detroit and against Toronto. Giannis was out the game against Toronto, lost the game by 6 as 2.5-point favorites. Giannis should play in this game, but so should Kevin Durant. How about the Brooklyn Nets? They suck at home against the number. They're 4-14-1. 4-14-1 to the number at home. That is awful. But I'm backing them. I'm going to lay the 3.5 here with the Brooklyn Nets because of how bad the Milwaukee Bucks are as a dog this season, and because they're going to be without numerous players, their bench and starting rotation severely knocked up due to COVID. I know Kyrie Irving, that's significant, but look, Nets got that win on the road against Indiana, 129-121. Maybe they turn things around. They snapped their 3-game winning streak. Maybe they've righted the ship here a little bit. Back-to-back losses for the Milwaukee Bucks. COVID's kicking their tail. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near 100%. I'll lay the short number for a home favorite. Brooklyn minus 3.5. Hopefully Kevin Durant goes off here. Brooklyn minus 3.5 for a half a unit. Play number 1 here on a Friday. And play number 2, we're going to college basketball. We're going to the Big East. We're going to Marquette and Georgetown. Marquette favored by 2.5, total at 153. All right. To the over, Marquette this year, 8-6-1. To the over, Georgetown, 6-5. Georgetown coming off of a COVID stoppage. They have not played since a game against TCU back on the 18th of December. Okay. Last 3 games for Marquette, they have scored 88, 69, and 70 points. The over has gone 2-1 over those last 3 games. Last game went over by 5. The Creighton game went to overtime. It still went under even in overtime, under by 2.5 points. And against Connecticut, it went over by 7.5 points in an 8-point loss at home to UConn. They're on the road here going to Georgetown. Georgetown at home is 5-3 to the over this season. 3 of the last 4 games for Georgetown, all at home, have all gone over. TCU and Howard went over by 8.5 a point. Against Maryland, Baltimore County went over by 18. Syracuse, given their defense, that game went under by 0.5 point. Just barely missed going over. A 79-75 win for Georgetown against Syracuse in that game. The total is 153. What I'm eyeballing right now, when you start breaking down the stats for these two teams, and again, I know Georgetown's coming off of a COVID stoppage. For the most part, I think people are overvaluing or over-handicapping when it comes to COVID stoppages, but maybe their legs aren't going to be there, and maybe defensively they won't be that sharp. That means more points for Marquette. So even if they aren't great off the COVID stoppage, I think it helps us here because I like the over 153. Marquette scores 73.4 points per game, but Georgetown gives up 73 points a game. That's 248th in college basketball. Yikes. Georgetown scores 77 points per game, but Marquette gives up 70.3 points per game. That's 191st in college basketball. These teams don't play defense, okay? They don't stop anybody. They don't play defense. I mean, effective field goal percentage, Georgetown 49.6 given up. That's 181st in college basketball. That is absolutely awful in college basketball. They give up not so many 3-pointers. I mean, Marquette doesn't shoot a bunch of threes. They're really down in 3-point percentage. But Georgetown hits 39.2% of their threes on the year. 13th best in college basketball. Marquette gives up 31.8. That's 118th in college basketball. So Georgetown hits their threes and Marquette hits their twos. Marquette runs, gets up and down. When you start looking at KenPom for adjusted tempo, Georgetown right now is 23rd in the country in adjusted tempo. Do you know who is 22? 22 is Marquette, which is right behind them here for adjusted tempo, which I think is really, really interesting. It's just number of possessions these teams are having over the course of over a game. 72.6 and 72.5. 22 and 23 in the country. So they get up and down. They go. Marquette goes fast. Shaka Smart's got them moving. Defense, not so much. Georgetown, moving really fast. Jacking threes. Let's hit shots. Let's go up tempo. Let's go lots of points. Half a unit over Marquette and Georgetown in the Big East here on a Friday night for a half a unit. All right. 3 plays for you guys. 1 future bet and 2 bets on a Friday coming up. We got playoff games on Saturday. Got tons of stuff to get into. And by the way, if you're in New York, welcome to the party, guys. You guys can bet now on your mobile application here on a Friday. Here, you can start and get going. If you want to bet these plays, go right ahead. I don't know if the BetMGM offer, I don't know if that's going to work in New York yet. I'll have to check on that, but I don't think it works yet, but it may work soon. So when you guys are signing up for accounts in New York, get that Juice150 promo code and get your free money from BetMGM. All right, we're going the Titans 5-1 plus 500 to win the AFC for 1 unit. Half a unit, we're going Brooklyn minus 3.5 against Milwaukee, and we're going over 153 for Marquette and Georgetown here on a Friday night. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast, always being brought to you by BetMGM.